it comes to, hey, where are we going? What type of future are we building together? When, oh, something's going wrong, how are we supposed to deal with this problem coming up, right? Having the right mindsets. Are both spouses growing together, right? It's like Jazz Dhaliwal says. What does she say?
Oh, she says, you don't have to be on the same page, but you at least have to be in the same book.
So, are they in the same book, right? Do we have couples in the same book, writing the same book together, right? Are they teaching their kids properly, the right mindsets, the right thinking, the right communication skills, right? Success principles, the ways in which that we can make this country and this continent, right, so much better is by teaching people to live aligned with our philosophies. What? The philosophy of multi-handed income. How do you stop stressing about, oh, do I have enough money? Do I have enough time to do this, that? How do I give my kids better experiences? How do I give my spouse better experiences? Right? Philosophy of 10%, 3 rules and 3 goals. How do I understand how to make sure that my money, my wealth is working for me? Self-improvement, getting into the right environments where you're able to cast a vision together, build your life together, right? So we're so grateful that we get to share the new art of living with you guys today. And we don't want to take it away from, the amazing couples coming after us. So we'll stop. That's kind of a sneak peek on what's to come. All right.
Right. So again, I hope that you guys are here with your guys' spouses, that you guys are ready to learn, that you guys are ready to learn how to be able to communicate, build a business together, grow together, being able to figure out, okay, what do our finances look like and how do we actually make this thing work? And again, like we said, we are going to hear from incredible speakers and power couples today on Valentine's Day. And so the very first couple that I want to bring up, they're an incredible couple. They are incredible parents. They have incredible leadership skills. They're the people that one has a very incredible accent, right?
I mean, yeah. What can I say about Connor? He's like one of my favorite people out there. I mean, the guy is young, driven, ambitious, faith-oriented, building a better life for his family. And look, Valentine's Day, yeah, love is good and all, but what's better than to build for your family, for your relationship together? There's no one better that knows how to do that than Connor and Natalie Watts.
So thank you so much for being an example for everybody. We absolutely love you guys. We're grateful to be building this thing with you. And please take the floor, Connor.
Awesome so much. Thank you so much, Nicole and Karan, calling live and direct from South Florida, Fort Lauderdale. Make some noise. Man, first of all, I want to just express some gratitude. Thank you so much, Nicole and Karan, for the warm introduction, for getting us started. I want to first just say thank you to God for this incredible opportunity that He's blessing with. I look back on my story and my journey, and I just see His hands have been on me this entire way, has led me into this powerful organization with this powerful mission of the New Art of Living. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for my wife, who might be here on the call. You can see her, you can spot her put next to me. She's holding down for the family right now, little baby Ella, in the middle of teething and all the stuff, so that's always fun. And I'm so grateful for the leadership. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for the fact that you are here on a Saturday morning, a part of this environment. And I want to give you guys a little quick background on myself as I get into this. Because just so you guys know, if you haven't heard me speak before, my background really has nothing to do with business, has nothing to do with finance whatsoever. In case you're wondering about the accent, no, I'm not from Australia. This is an English accent. I grew up just outside London, and I grew up in a pretty rough area just outside London. And I actually my background coach soccer professionally. And the reason I went into coaching soccer was because I had one teacher that changed my life, because this man just believed in me. He saw something in me that just wasn't even there at the time. And it was his belief in me that inspired me. I was like, wow, I want to be that person for as many other people that I possibly could be. And I had the opportunity to coach for some of the largest soccer teams on the planet. Chelsea Football Club, Liverpool Football Club. And then I got a job at LA Galaxy, which is what moved me from London to California back in 2019. When I moved to California, I'm like, dang, it's expensive here. I was praying for wisdom. I was praying for understanding, especially in the area and the topic of my finances. And really, by the grace of God, I met Barry Wong, and Barry Wong started teaching me about the New Art of Living. And my whole life has never been the same as a result. And as I started learning this, I was really caught in this crossroads between what's going to allow me to have more of an impact in people's lives, on families' lives. Yeah, I could teach soccer, and that's great, don't get me wrong. But if I could help them to learn these philosophies, if I could help them to learn about the New Art of Living, the impact in their life is going to be so much greater. Because I've seen firsthand what happens to a family when they don't get the chance to learn about themselves. Does anyone know, maybe put it in the chat, does anyone know what the number one cause of divorce is in America? Someone joked with me before, like, the number one cause of divorce? Marriage. But second to that, the number one cause of divorce is actually money-related issues. Breakdown in communication, people fighting about money-related issues. It's the number one cause of divorce. Okay, and I witnessed that with my own parents. We're talking about Valentine's and relationships. I saw how money affected my own parents' relationship, and I grew up in an environment. As a result, there are a lot of limitations and a lot of limiting beliefs around money. And money has been statistically shown to be one of the biggest causes of stress. And stress is linked to all kinds of sickness, all kinds of disease. And sadly, I saw that manifest itself in my own mother's life. God bless her, she's no longer with us. And in my mom's final years, as she was here on this earth, those years were so much more stressful than they ever needed to be. Then they were so much harder than my mom deserved for them to be. But that was because there was no one that ever took time to sit with my parents, to sit with my family and teach them any of these ideas. But this is why I love so much what it is that we do for families. I love so much this mission of no family left behind from the New Art of Living. I love so much being able to sit with families, sit with couples, help them to learn these ideas. Because when families learn these ideas, it changes their entire life. It strengthens couples. It helps families to grow. It unites families. And it puts us in a position where we can go out into the world and be a light in the world. You know, there really needs to be more good people with strong marriages as an example of strong faith, whatever that faith might be, of good character, of good values, making so much more money and having so much more money. Because if we like it or we don't like it, in the Western world, with money comes influence and comes power. And if it's not in the hands of strong families united, if it's not in the hands of good people with strong faith and values, then whose hands is it going to be in? And, you know, I'm so blessed with this business and this opportunity because of this, I met my Valentine. I met my wife, Natalie. And what a blessing that she's been in my life in so many incredible ways. Because of this business, who would have thought it? I got started here, single, 24-year-old kid at the time. And now I'm married, I have a beautiful daughter. I'll tell you, one of the most important, if it wasn't for this business, if it wasn't for the events that we've done, if it wasn't for Cash and Lizzie pouring into us and other leaders pouring into us, I'm not sure that we would have made it this far, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm not sure that we would have even got married. And I'll tell you a quick story with this, and it's going to lead into my topic right here. When I first started dating Natalie, we wasn't a perfect fit. In a lot of ways, our values didn't align completely. I'm like, she's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but is this wifey material? I don't know. But I twisted her arm and brought her to a big event. It was Phoenix, January 2022. And I witnessed a shift in Natalie that I was like, whoa, like she left behind some different ways of living prior to that point. Yes, she did. It's my beautiful wife, my beautiful daughter right here. Well, I'm such a blessed man that this is my little family right here. But at that event, Natalie made some certain decisions to start thinking a little bit differently, start acting a little bit differently. We started learning together. We started growing together. We started working out. We started partnering together in the business. And because of that event and me witnessing Natalie grow like that, I was like, this is someone who I could make my wife. And I did. And here we are. And this business has been a blessing in so many ways. So, with all of that being said, let's talk about, in general society, there are lots of different challenges that families and couples face. Okay? So, For example, in in a relationship, sometimes there's the spender, Nelly, and then there's the saver. Okay, look at the shots fired a little bit. Okay, and this is what causes sometimes couples for there to be a little bit of friction because one's trying to spend all the money sometimes, and one's trying to save more money. So there needs to be alignment with these different things right here. Okay, 1 second, let me just pull up something real quick right here. Right up there. Sometimes people believe there's like short-term gratification. Like people want to make sure, people want to just enjoy it right now, enjoy everything that's right here. It's all about the short-term gratification. The other one's thinking about the long-term gratification of becoming a wealthy family of financial independence. Another set of challenges is that people, they have hidden financial habits. Maybe there's some secret purchases going on. They have a secret credit card on the side or a secret bank account on the side, or there's an undisclosed debt they might have, or there's really just a lack of complete and full transparency with the couple together. Thirdly, maybe there's no agreed money rules, meaning they don't have clarity on spending limits. One, again, maybe spending more money than the other is. Maybe there's different priorities when it comes to investing, or different priorities when it comes to the elimination of debts. They could be various different things. Or there are different money stories. Like I told you, I grew up in a family where money was very scarce and there was a lot of limiting beliefs around money. So there might be one individual that has certain limiting beliefs about money and another one who has maybe more empowering beliefs. And those two belief sets have to come together and get into an alignment, get into an agreement. And that's what a lot of having some of these conversations about today are really all about. And then sometimes there is undefined goals. People aren't clear on the 3 goals of money. They're not written or shared. And as a result, couples drift because they don't have very clear goals. And that's been one of the things that this business has blessed us with, Natalie and I, is clarity on goals, clarity on the vision, where we start dreaming together. And it's something that we have to constantly go back to, constantly remind ourselves, constantly remind ourselves like, well, okay, why are we doing this? Why are we fighting? When we have complete time and money freedom, what are we going to do? What's the cause? What's the thing that we're going to believe in? Why is it all worth it in the end? Because unless you're very clear on why you're doing what you're doing, why it's so important for you to have financial independence. Like, let me ask you this. Do you have a plan when you are financially independent, what the number is, like what you're going to do with the money, the causes you're going to support, the idea? You got to have something that's going to pull you towards it. That's so big and it's so bold and it's so exciting. What's the thing? Is it helping children in some way? Is it helping people? Is it help feeding America? Whatever it might be. What's that thing for you? That if you together as a couple get alignment on this vision, it like you just can't help but do the work. What would that thing be for you? But it's the philosophy of 10% for your goals that solves all of these challenges right here. So let me run through some of this. And they've been around, you've seen this, so I'm going to move fast through this part right here. So it starts, the process of wealth creation was setting aside a minimum of 10% savings from our paycheck. Because let's just be honest, if you're not saving at least 10% of your income, do you think you're ever going to become financially independent? Do you think your family is ever going to become a wealthy family if you're not saving at least 10% of your income? No chance. We then need to understand and apply the 3 rules of money: compounding, risk, and tax. I'll break that down in a moment. So that we can accomplish the 3 goals in sequence: income protection, replacement, and then generational wealth. What income protection means is, God forbid, you or your spouse, you get sick, or the income earner sick. Do your bills still get paid? Imagine you had a magical money printing machine in your basement that was just printing money for your family. Would you want to make sure at all costs that machine is protected, insured, covered, in case the house burns down and someone tries to steal it? Of course, right? Well, the reality is, for most Americans, their number one asset is their ability to earn money. They are that money printing machine. And if they lose that ability, they're going to be in a very difficult spot, a very scary place financially, unless they have the right income protection. Income replacement means the money that we're generating, we save and invest enough of it, where the interest on that money completely covers our entire lifestyle. We're financially independent. We work because we want to work, not because we have to work to pay our bills. Just imagine that for a second, by the way. You can wake up every day and want to love to, not because you've got that credit card bill too. Very different way of life. And then thirdly, generational wealth. We're talking about the context of money. See, in the Bible it says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. But it also tells us in Proverbs that wisdom and understanding is more valuable than rubies, gold, and silver. The greatest inheritance we can pass on, and we need to pass on, is the one of wisdom. If we leave $1 million without any wisdom, that money's going to be gone just like this. And it's why I love having these conversations with people, because we get to give the wisdom. So let's break down the rules. The first rule is the compounding effect. Albert Einstein, out of all of his formulas, called this the eighth wonder of the world. Very simple. Pick the number 72, you divide it by the interest rate you're receiving, and that equals the number of years that it would take for your money to double. So, for example, let's just pretend you're 29. I'm looking around the room. Everyone's here is a lot younger than 29, so we just have to use some imagination for a second. I give you 10 grand, and you need that somewhere that gives you a 4% return. 72 divided by 4 equals 18. So by the time you turn 65, you have $40,000. Fired up, excited. Not really. With an 8% return, so you double the rate. You actually quadruple the money in the same period of time. You double the rate, but for the money. That's the power of compounding. And it's possible to get a 12% return. Sometimes people ask, how do you do that? You just need an education about the right accounts that exist. Okay, now your money ends up at $640,000 in the same period. The difference between 10,000 at 4 versus 12 is 600 grand. Put a 1 in the chat if you know a family that could benefit from an extra 600 grand. 1. That's my chat. Go ahead in the chat right there. That's my family. That's a lot of families. That's all families, for sure. Okay? So let me keep moving. The risk effect. When we look at how money grows, we have a few options. We've got what's called a fixed account, like a savings, a seed fund. It's very safe, but no growth really that happens here. Okay? Then we got what's called variable. This is growth, growth with risk. The market goes up, your money goes up. Market comes down, your money goes down. But what if it was possible to get the best of both safety effects and a growth of variables? Yeah. If that was possible, do you know any families that would want to at least be aware of that? What that means, that's what we call an indexing strategy. In an indexing strategy, when the market grows, you grow. But whenever the market comes down, you drop in and stay put. You get growth without risk. Now, sometimes, if you're hearing this for the first time, sometimes people are like, well, that just sounds too good to be true. Or they're like, if that was real, everybody would already be doing it. And it's true. If someone had taken the time to sit down and teach them, they probably would be doing it. People aren't even aware of the rule of 72, that indexing. It's very interesting to see as well that banks, their number one asset class, what did I get to? Okay, so now let's talk about the third and final rule of money. We've got what's called tax now, tax later, and tax advantage. Tax now, you pay tax as you go. This would be like a checking, savings, CD, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. You can make money, but Uncle Sam always takes his cut. Then you've got tax later, it's like a 401k, IRA, pension, TSP. You don't pay any tax in the beginning. You pay no tax along the way. You pay all of the taxes later at the end. Think of it like this. Let's just say that you needed a loan. Call it 100 grand. And I'm willing to loan you money. Now, before you accept the loan from me, what should be the first question that you ask me? What's the interest rate? What's the terms of the loan? Imagine I said to you, hey, don't worry about it. Just take the money. Have a good time. Later on, I'm going to tell you how much you owe me. Would anyone here ever take that deal? If you would, talk to me after. We can set it up, okay? Yeah. So, probably not. Sounds kind of sketchy. But this is the exact deal that anyone putting their money in a tax later account is taking with the IRS. Because do we know what the taxes are going to be in the future? We don't. And do you think taxes are going to go up or come down in the future? Take a wild guess. This then leads to the tax advantage. Tax advantage, you pay tax on the seed in the beginning. Your seed gets planted. It then grows. You enjoy a tax-free harvest again. In summary of all financial home properly. It starts with a minimum of 10% savings so that we have the material to build the whole home. The next layer is income protection. If we lose the ability to earn money while we're building the home, construction is stopped. We then need to understand and apply the rules of money, compounding, risk, and tax, so that at the end, we have a secured income replacement, ideally tax-free, ideally guaranteed to not lose, and we finish it all off with a tax-free generational wealth, which becomes the foundation for the next generation to build upon. Okay? And with that being said, that is my time. Very grateful to have the opportunity to share with you guys today, and I'm very excited for everybody here to hear from the next couple right now. I have so much love and so much respect for these two right here. They served our country. They've committed their life to the service of other people. Natalie and I and Ella, we have so much love and so much respect for them that they were one of the two couples that we actually asked to be the godparents to Ella. And so let me bring up none other than Jaime and T-Dog.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Good morning and happy Valentine's Day to everybody. We're super pumped to be here. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for the introduction, Connor. I see about 456 or 57 going in and up, so that's up and down. That's really good. And guys, I am so blessed to have this opportunity to share with you guys. I'm thankful to God to give us this opportunity and time to share with you. Wishing you, each and every one of you, the best time with your loved ones. And I get to be with my incredible girl, Tanya. So super excited for this, guys. I want to tell you guys a little bit about my background. I was born in Colombia, raised in Miami and Ecuador. And when I came to the United States, I eventually joined the U.S. Marines. Super fortunate. For those of you that listen to the Rich Stoddard podcast, I was a Marine Raider. It's a total blessing to have served our nation and to do those things and to go through the hardships that came with it. Valentine's Day is important to me because it's an important day, another day that we focus our love on our loved ones. And you'll see a trend here. Everybody tries to make a Valentine's Day an everyday thing. Now we just know everybody else that we're also thinking about it, right? And with that, I am twice divorced. So I went through my fair share of hardship. So I assure you that the lessons that we have to share in relationships are not easy, and they were learned through a lot of trial and tribulation. I eventually was about to retire to the Marines, and I met her while we were planning to create a course for the military. And yeah, so that's what got me here and to this point. And I'll let her tell her story.
Yes, good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to spend this love day with everybody. Grateful for this opportunity. So I was born and raised in Wyoming, and I grew up with a hard work ethic, right? My dad told me, you got to go to school, finish your degree, and buy a house that's not a trailer home. And so that's exactly what I did. I went to school, I joined the military, I got married, I finished college, and then I got divorced and got my dream job at the National Laboratories as an engineer where Jaime and I met, right? And through that, I was able to, I thought I had a secure income. I thought I was making over 6 figures. I was able to buy my first home that wasn't a trailer home. And it was all before 26. And I thought there has to be more to this, right? There has to be more than just journaling in a notebook and working in Excel budget sheets. And I knew my life had more potential than working 7 to 5 until 65 and living paycheck to paycheck in the 6-figure income. I felt like I had a really poor relationship with money. I felt weighted around debt and anxiety around money. And thankfully, that's when I met Jaime, and he shared with me this new art of living. He helped me change my relationship with money. He taught me savings, investment, just like those 10% 3 Wall Street goals that Connor just taught. And he also introduced me to this great environment of friends and other strong power couples like Nicole, Karan, Cash, Lizzie. And I love that I get to share, this growth journey, getting closer with Jaime with such other great couples too. And I absolutely love too that I don't have a boss anymore. So with Jaime, we were actually able to fire that guy before I was even 30. And so we've been building this together. And so that's really what we want to share with you today is the power of multi-handed income and how it has changed our lives and our relationship. So let me go into full screen. Perfect. So some challenges that we see in society with couples is risk tolerance and mismatch, right? One spouse might be entrepreneurial, the other values stability and predictability, right? The conflict might be, why can't you just get and keep a steady job? For me, I had that steady job, right? I had the national labs with the steady salary, and I thought I had it all. We see challenges with time and energy strain. We see identity threat challenges. For example, one partner might be making more, right? When Jaime and I first met, I was making more. And so when it came time of deciding, hey, are we going to, are we going to be in the same book? Like Nicole said from Jazz Dollywall, are we going to be in the same book and grow together with this shared vision? And we committed to this shared vision, right? And so that's what overcame me, that ego of letting go of that job and building this together, right? We see lack of a shared vision in couples. We see poor planning. And so really this philosophy of multi-handed income is a solution to all this. I want Jaime to kind of tag on a little bit on these challenges as well.
So one thing that I want to come back and I want you guys to discuss is and think of is the identity threat as you start transitioning into a entrepreneurial environment, into growth, right? Because right now, if you're wherever you guys are in your relationship, I was a service member and Tanya was already working full time. We had to redo our identities, and not only as individuals, but as a couple, right? So what is identity going to look like in a place that we're both growing and supporting each other, okay? The other part is, as you look at time and energy strain, right, the easiest way to fix that is multi-handed income, right? If you're a mother of 2 to 3 and you're busy, there's probably some of you guys right now holding your kids while you're at home and your husband might be even at work and you're sitting here on this call and you're thinking, how do I make time for this? The best way to do it is with multi-handed income. It's probably going to weigh on you. You're probably feeling tired. But you know what? If you have multi-handed income, you would have more time and less energy strain, right? It gives us the freedom. And energy is hard because the whole life is pulling at you, right? Your professional demands, your relationships. So I needed to create multi-handed income so I can have more time and less energy strain to spend it with Tanya, right? To spend it with my team, to spend it in my dream life. And right now, if I want to give her my best, I need to be able to have more time. And I need to be able to focus my energy on her, right? That is crucial. And moving on to the shared vision, I was speaking with a couple just recently, and the wife was saying how she doesn't like doing anything. She's just a mom. That's what she told me. And I'm like, ma'am, you're an incredible mom. You raised an incredible son. And I asked her again, I was like, what are your goals and dreams? What would make you happy, right? So when you look at shared vision, I encourage each and every one of you guys to know the things that you want, as an individual, and then sit down with your partner and figure it out together what your dream life will look like together, right? So do it separate and together. That way you can create unity. Because if you're trying to pursue your life without your partner in mind, without the goals and dreams together, it's never going to work. All right, let me fix this full screen here because we have some writing and I wanted to remove that. So think about that. So write your dreams and then figure out how it correlates. Which things are you guys working on together? And then poor planning. We want to plan better for our days. So think about tomorrow. What do you got to do, right? Figure it out together. The business, right? Starting a business without reserves can be challenging. And mixing business and relationship expenses is costly, is reckless. So as you look at your finances, you got to know what your family needs, what your business needs, what your sweetheart needs, and what your business needs. And don't prioritize. The business will never be more important than your sweetheart, right? Never. But your sweetheart will understand that you need the business to provide the dream life. So then it comes all together. We got to put it all together. So again, if you want to be able to tolerate more risk, to have a strong identity in self, to have more time and less energy strain, to have a clear vision and to plan better, you just need more people helping you. That's multi-handed income. It gives us the freedom to pursue that, right? If you want to spend another hour with your kids and your wife, multi-handed income fixes it. And that's why I really value these philosophies. They're not just about business. They apply in life, right? Whatever errands you have, if you have, think about it. Some of you parents are applying multi-handed income by asking your kids to go clean their rooms. That's multi-handed business at home, right? So you got to apply more of that. Is it right and best principles, okay? So with that, I want you guys to think of the multi-handed income in our business, right? So ask yourself, is your current income produced by skills and hours or a system? Okay? Majority of Americans work through skills and hours, but they're part of the system. So they don't own the system. Then if your current income, if it's produced by skills and hours, then your income is rented, which this is the crazy thing. Americans are trying to purchase homes. They want to own their home, but rent their income. Why would we own our home and then rent our income? All of a sudden it could disappear. And then you cannot transfer to your spouse or children. I want to make sure that my T-Dog has her income regardless of what's going on in our life. So our income will transfer to her. And are you able to sell it? So let's say whenever this business is humongous and I decide to sell it, right? So that I can, go work full time in a coconut farm in Fiji. That's a new dream. I just came up with that one, right? I can sell it and go do it. And that's something cool. Think about what I just did. I just came up with a dream in this moment because I can think freely because of multi-handed income. So I encourage you to dream that way. So the idea is that you want to have a system that you own, that you can transfer or sell. Transfer or sell. That gives you the freedom for your loved ones, for you to spend more time with your loved ones. So think about what income are you? Single-handed, salaries, commissions, and margins, versus multi-handed, royalties, dividends, and capital gains. And people often say, it's like, I already have dividends and capital gains. It's often not enough. And to get more dividends and capital gains, you got to put more money. To make more money, you got to have more multi-handed income. So it's simple. So one is produced by skills and hours, and one is a system. So you want to systemize your whole life. And I'm going to give you guys this perspective as we're talking about love. Everybody here wants to spend time with their sweetheart. Please raise your hand if you would love to have an extra 2 hours with the person that you love per week. Just 2 more hours. I'm not talking about a whole day, just 2 more hours with them, right? Look at all these people. And this is the joke that I tell people. If you want, let me ask you this. What about 8 more hours? Just shake your heads if you would like 8 more hours, right? Cool. Then if you're shaking your head and you have a job, I suggest that you quit your job. There you go. You got the 8 more hours. But we can't do that because we need the income. The only way to gain those hours back is with a multi-handed. So if you focus on what you want and you want to spend your time with your sweetheart, then it becomes really simple. I want to spend, like Kiosha just said, 40 hours with Daryl, right? So that's why Kiosha doesn't have a job. She's doing the multi-handed income. She spends all the time with Daryl. That's why I spend all my time with T-Dog. That's why Cash spends all his time with Lizzie, Candace, and Mike. We figured out that our priority was not to work. It was our loved one. So we needed multi-handed income to give our loved ones more time. And that is my time. Super pumped with this, guys. I am so pumped for this next couple. This couple, Bob and Mega, they are role models here. And guys, when you find people that are so loving, so caring, it's so funny. Every time I get a text message from Mega, I'm like, this is going to be good. We're doing something. This is like teamwork kind of stuff. So guys, up next, we have Bob and Mega. You guys can go ahead and take it.
Hello. Thank you, Jaime. That was such a nice introduction. Thank you so much. Bear with me while I figure this screen thing out. Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. How is everybody doing? Can everyone see my screen here? Yes? Okay. All right. So, good afternoon, Wealth Builders. Happy Valentine's Day one more time. My name is Mega Sharma, and I'm joining here you all with my incredible husband, Vijay Karala, aka Bob. We are parents to two amazing kids, Neo and Gianna. And we are living, thriving, and growing in life and business through New Art of Living. How amazing was all of this today? Starting from Nicole and Karan, and then we had Jaime gave such good insight, and then Connor going through our second philosophy. New Art of Living has it all. It covers all of the things we need in our life, right? And we are so honored to present the third philosophy and how that solves most of the challenges and or provides us a guidance to handle challenges that we face, all of us as a couple. And I am going to, I don't know why this is not. So, in our society, what are the challenges we face, right? As a corporate worker before this business, I was facing them all. It doesn't mean we don't face this anymore, but I feel like we didn't have awareness. We had all of these challenges, but we're just living in our own bubble. So before we got introduced to the business, I was a corporate program manager in healthcare industry, and I had left the job because I was seeking more time and more money, just like how Jaime was, talking to us about, I realized that I was seeking more of a purpose. Why am I here on this earth? What was I put here for? What are the problems I'm going to solve? In the years I have left in this life. So I was looking for a path and a direction to create something of my own and something really of an impact. And that's when I got Universe connected me with Wealth Builders. And then my husband was still in the tech industry in corporate.
Yeah, I was working in corporate in tech industry. The world of entrepreneurship was new to both of us, right? And there were challenges that we faced as a couple and had to be willing to put work through them, which the environment made it possible for us, right? The self-improvement philosophy of New Art of Living helped us recognize patterns in our life and relationship and work on strengthening each other aspect of our life, especially the most important one, which I would say as a partner in life, right? And we're thrilled and excited to share our journey of self-improvement as a couple in love.
So here are the gaps, as you can see here on this slide. The major challenges we faced as a couple, and a lot of you probably can relate to this, is a growth gap, inconsistent discipline, ego and accountability, communication breakdown, and then we end up, not intentionally, but we end up blaming versus taking ownership. Now, how did this happen in our journey in business is what I want to share we both want to share with you. So when we got started in the business, I jumped in full time because I had just left my job, right? And this business is all about growth. And in the beginning, it was because it was new, it was we weren't aware what was happening. There have been seasons when I was growing fast. I was reading more. I was attending every call. I was training more. I had just realized that, okay, dreaming is possible. And I was so focused on dreaming bigger. And he was still, making a living, basically, and also raising our kids because I was so busy. And then I assumed that he felt the same pace as I did. And I kept saying, dang, why isn't he excited as I am? Poor thing, he was all burned out, taking all the load of the family, right? So when one spouse evolves faster, it doesn't feel inspiring at home. It can feel uncomfortable because of these reasons. And we did feel that, we went through that.
Yeah, you see, I wasn't resisting her growth. I was just adjusting to the new version of her because I was not used to that, right? So when your spouse, or in my case, her, starts thinking bigger, moves differently, raising the standards, right? You have to find new footing for yourself, right? So that's the adjustment period that I was going through.
To add to that, we were always this couple. And by the way, at that time, we had been together for 21 years. So always this couple, always ready to have fun together, party together, binging on Netflix together. That was our norm. So switching from that to growing, learning, leaving home, leaving the comfort zone, it was really an adjustment, and personal development, as much as it sounds exciting, but the real growth we realize requires humility, and humility from both of you, not just one, right?
It requires saying, maybe I am the pattern, right? Maybe I need to change. So you have to be able to look within yourself. So the ego always wants to win the argument, but the growth always wants to win the marriage, right? So you have to pick wisely which one you want to choose. So another one we faced was inconsistent discipline. There were times when she was committed to reading, training, showing up, and I was still at the corporate full time in my comfort zone. Not willing to do all those things, and that created tension. And it's not about who is better; it's about finding the rhythm.
So if one person is training for expansion and the other is protecting comfort, that's where distance starts forming. And we did go through this. Not because love was gone, because we were missing an alignment. So we had to figure out, and through our great leaders, through this platform, we were able to figure out, be aware first what was happening, and then find our alignment again. Another thing was also communication, as it says here. This is also the one we faced heavily. Sometimes our arguments weren't about money or time, they were about identity. When one person grows, the dynamic shifts. And in our case, he was still living the old life, and I was so excited about the new life I was living. I was running from the front, right? I was taking the driver's seat. Doesn't mean he wasn't part of it. He was handling everything backstage, but it felt like, without right communication, it felt like we were just losing it. That I would say was one of the biggest of the challenges among all that we faced early on in the business. Underneath.
Yeah, because what I feel like underneath most of the conflict is always fear, right? Fear of losing connection, fear of keeping up, fear of being left behind. And that fear always comes out as not being transparent, let's say, right? So you are not being true to yourself. Sometimes it comes out as criticism. So,
and then that becomes blame. That comes out as blame versus taking ownership of the things that are happening, the behavioral pattern you are showing in relationship. So we've had moments where it was easier to say you're the problem, and we've done that. We still do that. But ownership change, learning how to take ownership, and shifting the perspective towards, it's not about you versus me, it's about this goal, this dream we are going after as a couple together, helped us determine that. So when we shifted to asking, what can I improve, to go together with you and achieve the dream life we have dreamed for ourselves, the energy shifted. And
so underneath, if you look at it really, what's really happening is the identity is transforming, right? When standards rise, dynamics change. And when dynamics change, discomfort shows up.
So we realize that discomfort is not a sign you're drifting apart. It was actually a sign that we both were expanding. We were expanding together without even us realizing. right? And how did we, how did we come to this realization? Is again through New Art of Living, through our philosophy, through the association, the world class association we have, and even while that was happening, we were going through things that were making really hard for us to keep going. For example, there was a time when I came back from a major event. This was an event in Boston with Ed Milet. So I started getting into smaller rooms, and I started expanding even more. It completely changed me. That event completely changed me. But because of kids' school schedule, he couldn't go. We learned our lesson. Never miss big events, smaller rooms, whatever it is, with both of you there. Never go without your partner. I saw our future differently after that event. I saw what was possible. I saw the version of us that could exist. And I expected him to instantly see it the same way. And when he wasn't there, he wasn't part of that energy.
Yeah, you see, I was listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos of Ed Milet all the time, but it's not like seeing him in the real life, right? So no matter how in you are or involved you are in that process, you have to be in the environment to feel it. So instead of feeling inspired, I felt pressured at that time.
And instead of understanding that, I interpreted that as a lack of belief. I felt like I'm doing this alone. I'm alone on this. And I don't know if we can do this. So the doubt started kicking in, and that created friction.
So at that time, we weren't fighting about business or anything like that. It was identity shift. She was going through changes that I was not going through at that time, right? And it's through the facts or stability logic. She had the emotion and the energy, and slowly, I got into the New Art of Living, and I learned how to cope and deal with all of that.
So what changed everything for us, guys? It was sitting in the same growth environment together. We made the decision after a few of these series of events that happened in our married life. We made a decision, and we made a commitment that we would attend every event together and commit to growth as one. Commitment came first, and then action started happening. When we both heard the same message in these events, right? When we both felt the same urgency, when we both saw couples winning together, like our champion, Connor and Natalie, like our champion, Jaime and T-Dog, Binu and Kevin, Saban and Mamta, Cash and Lizzie, Raja and Jazz, it just removed interpretation for us. We were seeing live examples of things that were working. And who doesn't want to have absolutely rocking marriage, right? And we got that. We got the source to get to that dream marriage life through this environment.
Yeah, and my commitment at that time was, okay, instead of hearing from her excitement secondhand, why don't I feel it firsthand, right? I go into those events and feel it for myself. And that changed my perspective.
And none of that is easy. We're raising 2 kids, we have a life. It is tough, as it is for all of you that are here, listening to us. And by no means we're saying that we've got it all figured out. We still face these challenges every single day. But the difference is now we know how to recognize the pattern and how to break it. And that's the key. That's the growth I feel in both of us. And when we sat in big rooms together, we stopped competing. Instead, we started building.
Because the environment stretched both of us, right? I would say the gap, it's shrunk, right?
Okay, so, why big events? In common environment, which we were in all our life, the 21 years of togetherness we were just in common environment, right? We were, comparing ourselves. We were, criticizing each other, limiting beliefs, weaknesses, and that that was the reason why we had self-doubt. We doubted each other. We were complacent, and we were fear of change. And that fear came with a lot of other fears, right? But when we talk about New Art of Living, and going to our events, enhancing ourselves, improving ourselves, we're not just talking about finances. We're not just talking about numbers. We're talking about intentional design of your time, designing your standards, designing your legacy, designing your life together. Today I actually want to talk about something even more personal, designing your love together. We were designing our life and love in the common environment before, and now with the power of this environment and New Art of Living, we are doing that in an uncommon environment among the world-class association. And because love by default drifts, love by design evolves. That's been our learning. In this environment, we're constantly exposed to growth, and that's the biggest thing for us here. Bigger thinking, high standards, setting high standards for yourself first, then setting it for each other versus expecting that from one another. New identity, already living a life of a leader. And I saw that it just happened gradually without us even knowing. Just because we showed up, we decided to show up, we threw us in the environment, we saw that our life was slowly evolving. And, when your life is evolving, your marriage has to evolve too.
Yeah, because the New Art of Living teaches us to live intentionally. And that intention cannot be just outside your home. It has to come inside. You have to embrace it that way, right? Because if one person is practicing growth and other is not, exposed to the same environment, what happens? Tension.
Tension happens,
Yeah.
right? And growth inside a marriage is not always romantic. Most of the times it's not romantic. Sometimes and a lot of times it is disruptive. And we are not up here because we've mastered this. We are up here because we are actively building it. We go through it even today together, despite being in such an amazing environment, because our relationship is stretching with us. So now, successful life is defined by the person you become through self-improvement. Right? There is something powerful about big environments. They compress growth, they expose blind spots, they normalize ambition.
And they align couples faster than private conversations ever could, right? Because you are in that environment that forces you to think differently.
If only one of you is growing, you're not building a legacy.
Yeah, you're building distance.
So love by design, I'm so happy we got to speak to you about this. I will end with this. Love by design is not about chemistry. When we think of love and all the butterflies and, yes, it started with that. But as you evolve as a person, as you evolve as a partner, as you evolve as a parent, as you evolve as a business owner and an entrepreneur, it's about intentional evolution. And, we've made a decision. No one grows alone in our house. If we're stretching, we stretch together. If we're learning, we learn together. And if we're building, we build together. Because two people evolving intentionally, guys, it's unstoppable. That's the pure recipe for success. And with that, I'm honored. I'm honored that I get to bring up this powerful couple, our leaders, the mastermind behind Wealth Builders. All of us are here today, growing, learning, and that's all because of these two people. If it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for the dream of growth, freedom, and impact that they envisioned, we wouldn't be here, right? So we are just very grateful for you, Cash and Lizzie. We're forever grateful for your love, vision, and belief in us. Thank you for everything. The floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Great job. You did a great job, Bob and Megan. You guys are awesome. didn't all the speakers did an amazing job. I was like, oh, I love hearing all their different stories and the things that brought them together and the business. So it's been great. You want me to go first?
No, let's go. Okay, fired up. Let's go. What a great, let me just change this so I can see everybody's faces. All right, first of all, welcome to the call and happy Valentine's Day. And I hope you have your spouses next to you because we're going to go through this. And normally I would say we would need about a whole day to do this, but we're going to try to do this in a very short period of time. Okay? So, and first of all, I want to say great job to everyone who trained. I want to thank Candace and Mike for putting all the slides together that you just saw, by the way. Candace stayed up late last night helping us put those together. Thank Binu and Kevin for putting the training together and designing the training, and everyone who trained. Tanya, Jaime, not so much, but Tanya crushed it, okay? So anyway, great job, everyone. Champion Mega, everybody who trained. I see Joaquin. Joaquin, what are you doing here on this call? Okay. So anyway, very excited. I hope you are ready. Okay, I hope you're ready. And you're ready to take some notes because we're going to go over a few things and we're going to go over this fast. You ready? Okay. And so I'm telling you, some of these things, this is not going to be a YouTube channel right here, right now. This is going to be a lot of things that you actually want to write down. Okay?
Although we should.
Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Okay, very good. So let's just jump into this. So that being said, obviously I told you happy Valentine's Day, but I do want to talk about this. We're going to talk about, here's what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about things that if you apply any of them, okay, any of them, it will help you to have a better quality of life. It will help you be happier, okay? And before going into it, you got to know that we're not perfect in this by any means.
We're a work in progress.
We fight, okay? Just like anybody.
We
okay?
bicker.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Now, when you do it with understanding, is a completely different deal. Okay, so I'm gonna go over this. I have a lot of experience on this. I was in a previous relationship. I was married for a year. I got divorced, and when that happened, I made a decision that I'm going to be really good at this, and I'm going to get really good at, I started reading books and things like this and started working on myself, becoming better, and I still do constantly, and I still always fail. That's the process of self-improvement, okay? Now, number one, before going to it, I tell you this, if the first thing I would tell you, how do you make this thing better? Number one, you ready for this? Number one is you take personal responsibility. Okay? It's a lot of times we want the other person to make us happy. Okay? And I'm telling you right off the go, if you want your spouse to make you happy, it's an immediate failure. It is not your spouse's job by any means to make you happy. It's your job to make you happy. Are we good on this? Raise your hand if you understand this. Okay? So we cannot wait for anybody outside of us to help us be happy. Okay, it's our personal job. So understanding that, and this is why self-improvement, this is why growth, going to events and so on is so powerful. So let me give you some tips on this, and let me tell you what I mean by this. So number one, I know that I'm personally responsible for the way I feel. Okay. It's not her job to make me happy. So knowing that, I need to know what I got to do. So first of all, for example, for me, and I can tell you that this could work for anybody. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, before I do anything, when I'm in bed, before I say hello to Lizzie, before anything, I know myself. Some people wake up happy. Some people wake up grumpy, okay? I tend to wake up grumpy, okay? So I know my first thing I got to do is to do my exercise, my mind exercise of gratitude. Okay? So my rule number one is I do not get out of bed. I do not say hi to Lizzie. I don't do nothing unless I've done my gratitude and I feel completely ready and full of love and happiness. Okay? So in other words, you got to have a system for this. I have my pictures ready. It's on my phone. It's in a specific folder. Because I don't know how many of you guys, sometimes you wake up and you're like, what am I grateful for? And you're like, nothing. I'm not grateful for nothing, right? So if you don't have it ready, it's not gonna happen. So I have a folder on my phone where it has all the great pictures that I know when I think about those pictures, it makes me very happy and grateful. Okay, so I have a specific picture of Liam, my son, when he has this eyes that is just full of love and joy, and I tell myself that I want to live today just like I want to have the look that he has in his eyes, and I'm so grateful. And then I go to my other son and the hugs that he gives me. Then I go to my daughter and certain look that she has. Then I go to certain moments with Lizzie that I have a picture. Then I go to my parents and my grandparents and so on. And I go through it until I get emotional. Okay? You with me? And when I feel that emotion inside, see, remember this, gratitude is an antidote, okay, to any other things, any other feelings. So if you want to feel great, you got to take personal responsibility to be happy. Because I know that if I feel that energy, I'm good. But if I know that if I don't feel that energy, anything my partner will say or anything that the kids would say would annoy the heck out of me. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay? It's just so you know, that's what it is, okay? So I know it's my personal responsibility to take 10 minutes in the morning or 5 minutes, however it takes, for me to feel gratitude and love. Because if I feel gratitude and if I feel love, by default, what my spouse do or what the kids do or what the team does, it annoys me a lot less. How many guys with me on this? Okay, so that's step number one. Step number two, you ready for this? Step number two. I like to, I wake up, say hi. I like to listen to something that helps me focus. Personally, I love listening to Bob Proctor. I've been listening to Bob Proctor, You Were Born Rich, for, over 10 years, every morning. So that audio is already ready on my phone. It's pre-recorded. I don't even have to turn my phone on. Okay, obviously, hopefully. Hey, I know you know this and you probably don't do this. Yeah. Rule number one of happiness is to not freaking look at your phone in the morning. My phone is not on in the morning. I don't see any texts. I don't answer any messages.
It's on airplane mode.
It's on airplane mode, everything. And I've downloaded the video of Bob Proctor on my phone. So when I tell you, when I look at my phone, I don't see anybody's messages. I listen to Bob Proctor because there's a formula. I'm giving you the formula, and this has a lot to do with your relationship because it has to do with your happiness. So first is gratitude. Number two is focus. I was talking to Chris. He called me the other day, and he was listening to Tony, and he said something. It was very powerful. I want you to think about this. Isn't it true that our focus controls our life? Yes or no? Whatever we focus on, that controls our life. If I focus on a good side, but by the way, everything, I want you guys to know, everything has a good side and a bad side. Everything. It's called the law of opposite. If you look at a book, there's a front and a back. Okay? Every situation that happens, the best situations in the world, there's a good and a bad in it. The worst situation in the world has a good and a bad. Okay? So everything has a good and a bad. And what you focus on it really determines everything. Everybody with me on this? So our focus, see, I can go to a party and in fact, I can focus on two people fighting, okay? And they have a couple that are arguing. When I get out of that party, I'm going to be like, what did you see that party? Man, did you see that couple that were fighting? I can go to the same party, but then I focus on two people that are laughing. I was like, hey, did you see those people are having a blast that day? That was pretty cool. So think about this. Let me say it again. Whatever you focus on will determine your life. Isn't that true? But most of us, we do not control what we focus on. Okay? You must control what you focus on because majority of the work is done right here. It's not the spouse, it's right here. So I know I need to start focusing. What do you mean? So this is where you come to one of the events, for example, where we have the event in April. We have it in San Diego and Orlando in Florida. And you start designing your life, okay? So we have sat down, and this takes a while, okay? We're not going to do a whole training on it. But we've designed a perfect dream life that we want, okay? And we've created one word for it. And that one word right now is 100 million. Okay. And what that for us means, $100 million relationship. It means $100 million body. It means $100 million net worth. It means paying $100 million to our team. So it's one word that kind of like has everything in it for us. Okay. And we have a vision for a relationship. Okay. So in other words, if I were to, let's just bring it up, Lizzie. So when I tell you, you have to have a vision for your relationship, you do need to have a vision for your relationship. So for example, and let's see, some of these I can read, some of these I cannot. So no, it says, for example, my vision relationship, we are one. I love and I adore my baby. She feels like she's the luckiest girl in the world. That's my job. I got this. Okay. I love you. I worship you. I will take care of you forever. I am her protector. I love watching her smile. I do anything to see the joy in her face. I enjoy opening the door for her at all times. I have so much fun surprising her. Can't wait to see her face. I enjoy getting her ice. I'll tell that story in a little bit. But I know it makes her happy. Okay, so. And by the way, I have to read this because I forget. I forget all the time. Don't I forget all the time? Okay. I mean, Lizzie, as a matter of fact, make sure she reminds me. She's like, Ash, you train on this stuff. Why don't you do it? Okay. Just so you know, she does tell me that. Okay. So it's not like it's the perfect thing, but I do have a vision for the relationship. So step number 2 is focusing on our perfect life that I want. Because when I do gratitude, okay, I'm good. Then I go to our goals. As I'm listening to Bob Proctor, hey, we need to 100 million. We need to have 400 SMDs, and this month we need to do 500 business partners. We're gonna do $2 million of production. We need to have 2,000 people at these events, and this is so. I start refocusing every morning. Is like resetting.
So you do both, right? So your relationship, your family, and then your business. Because you have to know where you're going on your business too.
And we have our priorities straight. So we know, okay, the ultimate success, and I've defined this before, the ultimate success for us is at the end of our life, this is at least the image I have in my head, that when I'm on my deathbed, and there's people that are around us, and hopefully is our kids and our grandkids and their spouses, and there's one thing in the air, and that is the feeling of love. They knew we loved them, okay, and I know that they love us, and these are our great friends and go, and that is ultimately. Everything else that we're doing is to get to really to that end. Does that make sense? Okay. So I told you step 2, focus. So if I'm not doing this, you guys, it's very easy to get distracted with everything else. So far, so good. Anything you want to say before I go over these stuff? Okay. All right. You ready? Now, let's jump into it. The rest of this is a lot of self-improvement and communicate. What's communicate is self-improvement and around communication. Okay. And so I'm going to go through some of it. Okay. So for example, okay, I call it intentional loving. Okay. Intentional loving. In other words, knowing what the other person wants and then giving them what they want, whether I feel like it or don't feel like it. Everybody understand what I'm saying? So I'll give you an example. You heard me say it. We could be rushing someplace, which we are most of the time, and Lizzie needs to have ice in her water. Okay? And it happens at the weirdest times. Okay? I'm so tired. I haven't slept for hours. And then before to go to sleep, she's like, oh, I don't have ice. Okay? which means, okay, I got to go get her ice. Okay? And it's midnight. We're in a hotel. I'm like, if I don't go to sleep right there and then, I know I'm not going to go to sleep. So I'm immediately pissed. Okay? Well, there's nothing around it. There's just like, I'm just like, man, I don't want to freaking get her ice. This is what I say inside. Okay? But then this is called love, by design. Yes? Intentional loving. So I said, what does this mean? This is the questions we ask ourselves. This means I love her. Okay? Because I've asked her before, like, what do I need to do for you to know that I love you? She's like, get me ice. Okay? I'm like, okay. So I am going to work to show her that I love her. You follow? So now, when I completely don't feel like it, I might scream and yell inside, not outside, okay? I'm going to, guess what? I'm going to go and I'm going to get her ice. Okay? You guys with me on this? This is where it's happening intentionally. I'm doing something I don't like to do, but I do it because I love her. How many guys follow? It doesn't mean I'm singing and I'm going getting the ice. No, it's the exact opposite. Okay? Because I do it because that is what love is. Love is doing what the other person wants you to do. You follow? So you might ask your spouse, hey, what do I need to do? What are some of the things you need me to do for you to know that I love you? I'll give you another one. She wants me to send her emojis. Okay? Now I got a lot of stuff to do during the day. I don't have time for emojis, but she wants emojis. Okay? So guess what I did this morning? Right? You see the emoji right there. I don't know if you can see it, right? So I got to make sure I have it part of my day is that I send her an emoji. How are we doing so far? You understand? It's not like, oh, I just love sending her emoji. It's so fun. No, it's not that at all. Okay? It's just that's what she wants. I love her, and this is what I'm going to do. You follow? In the middle of, I got a charge back. This guy's quitting. This person is doing. The hotel needs to be signed. Oh, I got to send an emoji to Lizzie. Here we go. Okay? You follow? So, I hope this makes sense. So, okay. So, all right. So, this is what we call intentional loving. Okay? So, let me give you another one. So, you guys all have heard of, for example, the 5 love languages. And if you haven't, you're hearing about it now. So, you need to ask your spouse, what is your love language?
What is your love language?
And by the way, listen to this, okay? I'm going to go over all this stuff right now, right? But none of this stuff is going to be as good as when you're in an event together growing, okay? None of this. I'm telling you this, you're sitting in there, a lot of distraction going on. Some of you guys, your spouse twisted your arm just to sit here. You probably cursed them a couple of times, like, dude, I got a lot of other stuff to do than being on your stupid Zoom call, whatever that may be. But it's a very different when you're in a big event. Okay? Together growing. There's nothing replaces that. And I'm gonna get there. But let's talk about.
That's very important, though. What
Yeah.
you just said is really big.
So here's the basic. Let's go over the 5 love languages. Number 1 is word of affirmation. You say, "Babe, what do you want? Which one of these 5s do you want? Pick 2." Okay. So now let's just say she says, "I like word of affirmation." Okay. And obviously you're going to say, "I like all 5 of them," but there's 2 of them that you like the most. Okay. So word of affirmation, it could be compliment them sincerely. Leave a thoughtful note for them, a message, emoji, whatever. Verbally acknowledge their efforts or their qualities. Okay, it could be that. Ask your spouse which one it is. Number 2, quality time. Okay, this is a hard one. Okay, schedule uninterrupted one-on-one time, which we're going to get into this. Every relationship needs it, but if your spouse really needs this, you got to give it to them. So, like, for example, Lizzie's love language is quality time.
And it changes too. Back then it wasn't.
Yeah, and that's the least amount of thing. Like, I wish it wasn't, but it is. You understand what I'm saying? I got a lot of other things. But she needs quality time. So it's now scheduled in our agenda for the week. In other words, we have like 2 lunch day, and sometimes I miss it, and then she gets mad at me. Okay, but we have 2 lunch day, a date, and then we have a date night, and then we have Sunday family time. Okay,
And dinners for the kids.
and the dinners, and then we have dinners time with the family. Okay, actively listening without distraction. That means that. So one of the things is when we go on a date night or on anything, my phone is off. Okay, I turn my phone off. Not only I turn my phone off, I don't even bring my phone.
He leaves it in the car or it's at home.
Yeah, I love not bringing my phone. It's so good because if I bring my phone, I do want to check it. Okay, so
He actually now gets mad when I'm on my phone.
yeah, I'm like, "Babe, why are you on your phone?" You know. So, okay, number 3 is act of service. Do a chore they usually handle. Prepare a meal or run an errand for them. Ask, "What can I do that would help you today?" Okay? So if this is theirs. Number 4. Yeah. Number 4, gifts. Give small, thoughtful gifts, not just a special occasion. Pay attention to things they mention wanting or needing. Personalize the gift to show them basically you love them. Okay? So, and the last one obviously is physical touch. Offering hugs, hand holding, back rub, sit close and cuddle during downtime. So anyway, so you guys get it, yes? How we doing? So after this call, is one of your things. So far, I told you a lot of things. You got to have your list of gratitude ready. You got to know where to focus on. You got to ask him, "Hey, what do I need to do exactly for you to know that I love you, whether I like it to do it or don't like to do it?" When I do that thing, so ladies, listen to this. This is very important for ladies for a second. This is the silliest thing, okay? Is you want him to do something, but you don't want to tell him. He needs to know it himself, okay? That is very silly.
I realized that he cannot read minds. So men cannot read minds. They also can't multitask. So we have to tell them what we want. And like sometimes we think, "Oh, he should plan this thing. Oh, it's Valentine's, or it's this, or it's our anniversary." If you want something, he's not going to guess. He's going to probably mess up and he's not going to give you what you want. So why don't you just tell them what you want so that you can get what you want instead of thinking that they should already know already?
Yeah, that definition of what Hollywood, the fake Hollywood that gives you, that he should know. Even Zoom gave us balloon for this, and look at how many guys are commenting on this. So that is completely fake. That is not realistic. There's men are, if they read your mind or they don't read your mind, that does not mean it has nothing to do with loving you. You tell them what you want, and then they will do it.
Like, I realized it early on that he is not going to do it. So then I just tell him. And guess what? I am happy because I got what I want. So if I want a certain gift, then I tell him what I want. If I want a certain vacation, if I want to go somewhere, then I tell him what I want. Because then I'm happy. And we're both happy. Because then whole point is to make me happy. And then if he tries to guess and then he gives it to me, then I'm like, what do you call that? Disappointed because I didn't even hint or tell him what I want. Then I'm like, oh, he doesn't love me. So that's kind of like a
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, it's like telling that, like what she's telling me. She's like, hey, send me an emoji, okay? Give me ice, or the different things that she's like, do these things, have the lunch date, and be on time. Like tell me those things.
I literally had this weird thing before that we had a party for my birthday, or we were gonna go out for my birthday, and then my birthday was a different day, and then he got me a gift. Not at the party, but I wanted my gift at my birthday. So then I was upset because I didn't tell him that I want. It's like the weirdest thing that we think of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I was upset and be like, you didn't even get me a present. And he's like, I got you a present, but I'm giving it to you on your birthday. And I was like, oh, it's like I don't know.
Yeah. Everybody understands? So you gotta be clear on the rules, okay? So that's number 3, and then so at the end of this, number 4 is sit down with your spouse. What's your love language? What do you want me to do? Okay, how we doing? So far, so good.
And it's a 2-way street,
Yeah.
not just one way.
So now we're gonna get into the juicy stuff, and if you've been to any of the events, you've seen us talk about this a little bit. Now we're gonna talk about feminine energy and masculine energy. Okay. So the more feminine and masculine two people are, the more attraction they have. And the more equal they are, the less attraction they have. So write this one down. Equality kills relationship and kills polarity, and it kills passion. So in order for a relationship to be a passionate relationship, there needs to be polarity. Okay. One person needs to be super masculine. One person needs to be very feminine. A lot of times, we're going to go over this, when she was already first in the business, she was the one that she was running the business. She was already making $250,000 a year before we got together. And she had a masculine mask on.
I was very masculine.
Yeah.
But I wasn't aware that I was masculine, right? But I wanted to take charge. I wanted to be the person, and I wanted to be up front. So then when we talk or we decide on certain things, we're always arguing, because I'm like, no, you should do this, and he's like, no, it should be this, and then I keep giving him unsolicited opinions, or actually advice. They're not opinions. Advice. Or I keep telling him what to do on certain things, but then he's leading to and I'm leading to. So what happens is we butt heads, and not just in the business, but also in life, right? And once we understood the power of polarity, that once we understood feminine and masculine energy, I had to figure out, okay, am I really feminine or am I really masculine? Because it could be the opposite way. There could be a male that's feminine energy, but then the spouse cannot be feminine energy too, because we're both feminine, right? So then the other one has to be masculine. So as long as there's a yin and yang, masculine and
we're going to go over this right now with you. So maybe you go over this, babe, or we can go through it together. Okay. So here's what we're talking about.
Here's how you can find out which one you are.
Okay. So this is what we talk about: feminine energy and masculine energy. So feminine energy
is trying to fill up.
And masculine energy trying to empty. Okay. So like the ladies want to feel it. The guys are like, let's just work out and get the energy out, right? So
wants to experience love.
Wants to experience freedom.
It's like, I just want to be loved. You do this, and I feel loved.
Okay,
right?
So ladies want to be loved, but you have to understand, so this, whichever one you are, I want you to understand the other one. Okay? Don't be like, yeah, that's right. Okay? Understand the one you don't understand. Okay? So if you're a guy, I already know you love freedom. Like, you guys love freedom. Like, majority of the guys, like, what they want is to be free. Okay? And as a matter of fact, ladies like the guy that is free. Okay?
Yes.
And the moment that guy becomes unfree, it loses even its attraction.
In their head, she's like, oh, I got you. And then in the beginning, it feels great. But eventually, you're like, oh, he's a wuss. You know what I mean? And then you leave him. And you don't even remember why you left him. And it was because you are trying to hold his,
Yeah,
balls.
this is very important. Okay, so
If you look at all the guys you've dated,
like there's sometimes ladies are like, I need to know where you are at any point. Like for me, that was like a big no. I'm like, look, if you need to know where I am at any point, this is not gonna work out. I'm gonna be where I want to be. I'll tell you if I want to. Right? That's
the more freedom you give them, the more they come back to you, the more that they're loyal to you, the more you hold on to them and trying to look at their phone, where they're at, asking them any moment, like all that weird stuff, then the more they're going to be like, what the heck, you're controlling me. So the more he's going to go, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that was never like a thing. I'm like, do whatever you want. Like trust is trust, right? It's different. You know what I mean?
good stuff. Okay. Making small things big. Okay, that's what feminine energy does.
That means is we hit our head and all of a sudden it's like
It's just a little small thing. There's just like little small things happens. There's like Mary said this, and then we have this whole thing about Mary. Versus guy stuff is like, we're losing our house, but it's like we're gonna figure it out. Like so they make big things small, and then the feminine energy makes small things big. Like a little thing is just
the end of the world.
Yeah, end of the world.
This is a big thing. So we always want to be understood. So we try to re-explain certain things, or we're trying to get, like, can you just understand what I'm saying, please?
Yes. Okay. Masculine energy wants to be appreciated. Okay. Very important. This has a lot to do with the 3 C's and 3 U's. Understanding, by the way, for feminine energy, it means like you're just there and like feeling their pain. Okay. It's not like they're logical, sometimes she's like, I'm like, yeah, I get it. But she's like, well, you don't get it. So it's not until I'm like, oh, I feel the pain, then she's like, okay, I see you're getting it, So, okay. And by the way, ladies, if you just do this for your man, please, we're talking about feminine, masculine, again, it could be anybody, but anyway, wants to be owned, wants freedom. Let me go through this fast. Stimulated by praise, stimulated by challenge. Gathers, leaves. Storm of light, storm of peace. Hangs on, lets go.
Remember that thing that
remembers, forgets.
Oh, and this happened and that.
So feminine energy remembers what happened 10 years ago on a Tuesday night, and you said this one word. Masculine energy forgets it tomorrow. Okay?
No.
It's not that they don't care about you. It's not that they don't love you. That's what it is. Okay? So, babe, I'm going to go to page 60. So we just go faster on this for sake of time.
See how long that is? Right there.
Okay, here we go. Let's go through this real fast.
Oh.
Okay.
So these are the 3 non-negotiables, and they're really big, right? So the first one for feminine energy is when we feel unseen. Like, what does that mean? So feeling unseen means, let's say you just got your hair done, right? And then you pass by, and then your husband says nothing. We're unseen, right? Or like you dress up, all cute or whatever, and then he doesn't say anything that you dressed up. So, and then over time, or you said something and they didn't hear you, right? So over time, that actually builds up. And what happens is when you feel unseen, then it goes to when you're talking to each other, then you're having a conversation and they don't understand you. So then that means like, oh my gosh, he doesn't see me. He also doesn't listen to me. He doesn't understand me. Then it goes to the third one where they feel unsafe. So now you're like, oh man, is this the relationship that I want? I don't know if I feel safe in this relationship. Are we going to last? We've been dating for this long and this is not happening, or whatever it is. So it builds up on each other. And then once you feel all 3 all at the same time, then the polarity goes away, and then now you worry, doubt, fear, everything comes up, and it's just completely a mess, right? So then it's kind of hard to go back. And in order to solve those three, so the first one is just be a little bit more aware, men out there, right? So if your lady all of a sudden dress up, looks cute, just compliment her and be like, oh, you look great. Oh, did you get your hair done? Even though you see that they got their hair done, you can ask them, or you give them a compliment, because that means you're giving them attention and that you're seeing them, right? Or when you're talking to them, like sometimes Cash does this sometimes. He would be on his phone and I'm talking to him, and then he passed by and I'm like, oh crap, he's in La La Land, right? So then that's also a count that being unseen. So then you just put your phone down, 2 seconds, you give him attention, and guess what? She'll be fine the whole day.
Yeah.
Right? And on the understood part is, we normally show this video of like that nail. You should look at it, nail lady, right? So they're having a conversation, and because the masculine energy always want to solve stuff, so instead of listening, he's like giving him solutions for the stuff. And normally that's not what we want, right, ladies? We want them to listen. So what Cash does right now is when we have a conversation, he's like, is this a listening thing, or do you want me to solve it? Right? Like he did it the other day, and I was like, the other day I actually told him I want him to solve it, and he was just listening, and I was like, you forgot, you asked me if this is a listening thing or a solving thing, and you're just listening. I want you actually to solve it, right? But most of the time it's just a listening thing. So that's like one cue that helps bring back and remove the ununderstood. And then unsafe, like sometimes I still feel unsafe, and you just say, I'm here, I love you, baby. Like all that stuff, and it's a need for us to have, and it's nothing to get embarrassed of. But then when you feel unsafe, when he doesn't do it, then you just say it, and like, this is what I'm feeling, right? So ladies, now that you're aware of the 3 U's, if you need something and you're feeling a certain way, you got to tell your man. Because what did we talk about earlier?
Yeah.
They're not guessing. They can't.
And a lot of this is what I love, is like the reminder of these things. So guys, listen up real quick. When we talk about, so the 3 U's, I'm talking to guys, okay? So it's your job as a man, okay, to be able to see your spouse. In other words, when they're wearing a certain dress, you are complimenting them. When they're changing their hair, you gotta be like, always like looking, like very, intensely. So, did the color of the hair change? Okay. Did the nail get done? Okay. Is that a new dress that she's wearing? Is that a new hairstyle? So anything that is and it's, you actually gotta pay attention to it, because we tend to not. Okay. Because we naturally don't care about it, right? We don't see each other as friends and be like, hey, Bob, unbelievable haircut, man. Like we don't say that, right? That would, but we do need to say that to our spouse. So it's an actual thing we got to do. Being not understood. This is where you need to be completely there. At least try to do it once a day, where you're like, it's very hard to do, I would say, for guys, but you need to like empty your mind. Here's how I do it. I do this pretty well when I meet with clients. When I meet with clients, I don't care what is going on in the world. I'm like, this person is the most important person in the world, okay? And I'm going to be here with them right now. My phone is not there, nothing. So it's the same thing where you need to do it at least once a day, Basu, with your spouse, when you're like, there's nothing there, and you're just there, looking into their eyes. It's like, I am here. Nothing else, man.
Like Basu, she's a harmonizer.
Yeah, yes, your wife definitely would love it. You're like completely being there, okay? So.
And you don't have to do it for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yes, okay? And one more thing I would say on this, you got to treat your spouse as an I would say, I like to say it like this, but as an appointment, especially at the end of the night, it needs to be another appointment. This is a story Rich always talks about. that, if I would get a call at 10 p.m. and somebody's ready to get started in the business or they're ready to become a client, would I be ready to go even if I'm tired? And the answer is, yeah, I'll be ready. Okay. So, but
would you be like, no, I don't want to take this call?
No,
you
right?
have to be a client next time.
Yeah, no, you'll be like, ready. I'm writing this thing, right? So it's the same thing. We have to look at your spouse as the last appointment of the day. This has helped me a lot when I think about, okay, let me go do another appointment. Not like, let me just go see. It's like, it's another appointment. Now, why is that important? Listen to this. Would you ever this is big. I'm going to tell you this. You're not going to do it, but I'm going to tell you this. Would you ever sit down with your clients and tell them all the crap that happened in the business and in your life? No. Would you say, hey, so-and-so just did this, and this guy said this, and this guy did this, and this guy did this? You would never say that. A lot of people, ladies and guys both, when they see their spouse at the end of the night, they tell them all the stuff that they went wrong. The negative. This person canceled, this person charged back, this happened. You could not believe what so-and-so said. Can you believe he said this to me? Right? Whatever. Okay? Instead, if your most important business partner,
to your new recruit, would they
okay,
stay?
your new, if you're telling that to your new person, would they stay? Chances are not. Okay? So you actually need to be the most positive, especially guys, okay? With your spouse, always selling the dream of where we're going. Man, everything's awesome. You know that song, Everything's Awesome? You got to be going to bed with singing that song. Everything's awesome. Everything's awesome. Everything's great. Okay? And that's how you make them, by the way, feel safe also. And it's a constant reassurance where I sit down with Lizzie. I say, look, babe, just so you know, we're going to die together. Okay? Like it's this. And it's constantly happening. Okay? Let's go to the 3 C's real fast, and then I'm going to tell you the main message of the day. Okay? Masculine energy. Ladies, listen up. Do not criticize. This is very important. You're not going to listen to this, and all the guys are going to love this, but I'm going to say it. You do not give advice to your husband. Okay? You should be saying that. But I'm going to say it very clearly, and then you say it. We do not need any advice or wisdom from you. Okay? She knows this. Okay? I say it very straightforward. Okay? I know you love your spouse, and this is why you want them to do ... because you love them and you want to help them. But by you giving them your wisdom or you wanting to help them, all you're doing, you're hurting the masculine energy and feminine. You're killing the polarity of the relationship.
It's very big, right? So sometimes they do certain things. Let's say he did a meeting and I'm on the side listening to it. I don't know. I feel this urge to freaking correct them at that moment and be like, oh, you did this and you said this and you said this. Is that when someone tells you that at that moment, is that criticism or is it advice? How would it come off? Come off criticism, right? So it kills masculine energy when you're actually criticizing them and telling them what to do and giving them unsolicited advice, right? So when it comes to that, so then ladies, you're like, well, it's true. He did this, and this. He needs to fix it, right? Most of the time we're right. But the thing is...
Well, but not most of the time. Almost 100% of the time you're right. You just don't tell them, okay? So...
yeah.
So...
Because women, we have this instinct, right?
This is why you have a coach, and you tell the coach, and the coach says it. There's only 2 ways, okay? Yeah. Remember this. You can never change anybody. Like, if you want to change somebody's life, there's 2 things, okay? Especially when it comes to your spouse. You take him to a big event, or you tell the mentor, and the mentor says the same thing to them, okay?
To both, right?
Yeah.
It works all the time. So when there's something that he is doing, and I don't like it, or I know it's not right, or something is not right, it's just I want it to change, then I call our mentors, right? I call Jazz. I message Raja, you know what I mean? And then later on when they see him, they go talk to him about it,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
then from there he makes a decision. Because what happens, the weirdest thing is when it comes from us, it doesn't work. And it's hurting the relationship.
Yeah.
So instead of hurting the relationship, you tell the mentor and the mentor that they respect they will listen.
Okay.
Right?
So very good. So for sake of time, let's move on to controlled and what's the next one? Feeling closed. Okay. So these are the two things that kills masculine energy. Controlling, again, we talked about freedom. Controlling is like, let me see your phone. Let me see where you're at. Where are you doing this? Where are you doing it? Like trying to control what they do. That definitely kills masculine energy. And feeling close to them. So ladies, usually when they feel unseen,
when they feel all three,
they close up.
They're like, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the biggest thing, okay? So here we go. As a matter of fact, if you forget everything, if you just remember this one, you gotta trust me on this one, because all your problem is gonna be solved just if you just always do this thing, okay? So let me show you a picture, first of all, okay? Let me show you this picture. Here we go. I got a picture for you. Can I bring it up? Here we go. Okay. Here's a real picture. Okay, you guys see this guy right here? Okay. You see how like one of his arm is so much bigger than the other one? Because he only worked out this arm. Okay. This is you when one of you guys keep going to big events and then the other one doesn't come to the big events. Okay? This is literally you. Okay? Now, in real life, this is where separation happens. You listening to me? Okay? This is if you're going to take any advice, would be to grow together. Go to a big event together. Does not matter what the cost is. Okay? And I can directly talk about this because nobody can give us anything on this. My wife is 9 months pregnant. Okay? We have an event right now with Rich Dolly. And guess what? She flew to California for 6 hours. And we're here for the event. We're actually preparing right now, right after this. We're about to head over there to get stuff set up. Because we understand there's nothing more dangerous than us not growing together. We want to be at every freaking event. Let me tell you, it does not matter what the cost is. Doesn't matter if you have money, if you don't have money. It doesn't matter how. Because our ultimate vision, remember our ultimate vision? To be together and die happy. Okay, we know that vision and we make decision based on that, not money. Okay? I don't care what the thing is. We always going to grow together. We're always going to go to events together. Because if we don't, we become that person. That's when you're coming home. Okay? And see, if I go to an event, if I'm going to an event, I'm coming back, I'm thinking about ideas, changing, how to be better, how to think this, how we're going to do with the team, all this stuff. Yeah.
Remember that one.
And then what is the other person's thinking? They're thinking about, something that, happened with the kids or something that
happened in the house.
It happened in the house.
Nothing to do with
something that broke at the house. And that's what the thing that they're stuck at. And then one person wants to go to the moon and one person wants to go fix the door in the garage. Okay.
No matter how you would explain it, there's no way that it's like,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't have the same feel of his explanation versus if I was there seeing the whole picture and understanding it and the room, the energy of the room, the information, how it was delivered versus how he's delivering it to me, right? It's not going to work. And first off, even though I'm 36 months pregnant and I'll be 37 on Tuesday, I had to make sure I was safe about it, right? Or I'm not that crazy. I'm kind of crazy. But we talked to our doctors. We talked to our midwife. I checked the stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming. Right? So you got to do that too. Don't be 40 weeks pregnant and going there. That's a little different.
Yeah, so you have to just understand this. So something's happened with her leg and she's in a lot of pain, So sometimes at night she's like literally, she can't sleep. She's crying. I got to help her move, things like this. At the end of the night, but she still chooses to come. Why? It's very simple. We don't make excuses, so we don't take excuses. So right now, and we're going to Rich's event, Okay, some people are bringing their spouse, some people are not bringing spouse. But regardless of the situation, we don't take the excuse. You follow? That's fine. They can make it, but we never gonna give anybody any reason to be able to take excuses. We grow together. We're one. Okay, and that's it. So anyway, point of the matter is our next event is in April. If you have not registered with your spouse, register now. Okay, because growing together, I'm telling you, is the greatest thing you'll do with your relationship. You need constant reminder about this stuff. Yes or no?
Yeah, like
All the time.
if you
I don't-
miss one event as a spouse, you actually don't know what's happening with the business anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's so big. Because then you're not there, you're not understanding. When he comes back, he's like ready to go. And sometimes they might not give you everything that they got and understood in the event. And sometimes he understands something else and I got something completely different from what he got. And then when we bring our notes together, you're like, oh yeah, I got this one and I got this one. So it's like building the relationship together, building our life together.
Having the same goals,
Yes.
knowing where we at any point, all this stuff is just so big. So anyway, you guys, let's close this up.
It's your business when your spouse is
100%. You make so much more money. More importantly, you're so happy. Okay,
you're on the same wavelength, they
Yes.
can get there faster.
100%, you guys. So anyway, just wanted to say again, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for spending the time here with us.
A date with your spouse
And that's what we're doing tonight.
today.
Okay, we appreciate you. We love you guys. Thank you for the time that you're spending to be here with us. Thank you for your support of your spouse, your dedication, the time that you're putting in, your commitment, just who you are. I just want you to know we might not even know you, but we just want you to know that we love you and we appreciate you. And that's why we do the work that we do. Okay. Love you guys very, very much on this love day, just so you know. And excited to see you in person at the next event in April.
We're excited for you to change your family's life. So we'll see you in April.
All right, everybody. Have a great day.